Always enjoy talking to this guy, whether it's about college football or music or racing or anything. Shutdown Fullcast, you can find him. Fullcast After Dark, which he does for the Le Batard and Friends Network. DNF, the racing show that he does with Jessica Smetana. Thank you, Spencer Hall, for joining us. Before we get to you, though, I know people around here are excited about Miami Race Week. Who's going? Who's participating?
Bro, you know I'm already there. Formula One is back, dog. And also, I have pool access this year. Going to the Hard Rock pool. Jonas Brothers are going to be playing at the turn.
Right. It's a party over at the...
Is that Formula One?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in a big way. As you know, motorsports are my passion. And also, Tiesto is back for round 2.
You will not see any racing, right? You're just doing
Not a single one. In fact, it gets in the way of the beat dropping.
Jessica, are you doing the party scene here as one of our 2 racing correspondents?
I'm going to a wedding this weekend, Dan.
Yeah.
You don't love motorsports.
I think they should have changed the wedding.
Ouch.
Here's a spoiler. Verstappen's going to win it, and Jonas Bros are going to bring it on home.
Jessica, where is the wedding?
Baltimore?
Ouch. I am so sorry that you don't get to party by the pool. Spencer, thank you for joining us. You'll be coming down, correct? Because you don't miss these things.
That is correct. I've scheduled myself for like exactly 48 hours in Miami, which is about all I have the stamina for.
You going to Joe Bros?
No, I forgot. What's our language rating here? I'll say no. Emphatic no.
You can let it fly on this show. You don't have to work.
No,
Okay,
no.
very good.
I'm not going to the Jonas Brothers.
All right, but are you, you're not involved with the partying at all? You're not involved, you don't get into any of the socializing that is such, an extravaganza around these things?
I like the paddock. The paddock's very entertaining. If you hang around an F1 paddock, you will see a collection of people unlike any that you see in one place anywhere on Earth. And I say that because it's a combination of people who actually like F1, a combination of people who have money and are really only famous for having money, not for having a skill or doing anything, and also people who are actually famous. So you end up with a combination of like, there's Will Arnett, there's Michelle Obama, there's some famous Swiss dude I've been told is famous for being extremely wealthy who looks like a pod person that they just pulled straight out of the lab.
Lucas Matson from Succession is there for sure.
Right. There's Matson from Succession. There's and then there's Jackie Stewart. There's like an actual live racing god.
There's Mike asking for Coke from Winston and Yandel.
Yeah.
Get him out of here for that pronunciation was terrible.
Winston and Yandel.
I saw Bad Bunny there last year in the Red Bull garage.
Yeah. And by the way, Bad Bunny, I have money on him. I'm convinced that after seeing him pull off a Canadian destroyer on concrete at WrestleMania, he has the skill in order to place, I think, a solid 15th on the grid if he wanted to. Straight off the rip.
Are you, like me, conflicted on Saturday to watch either the qualies or the San Juan street fight against Damian Priest at Backlash?
I can multitask. That's what DVR is for. That's what a multi-platform life is for, Mike. You need to go ahead and skip one of your shows of a B-list band and watch both.
The only B-list that the Jonas Brothers are on is if we're just talking Stones and Beatles, because the Jonas Brothers actually have a catalog, my friend, that actually stands up. And people don't know this. They're respected musicians. The musicianship on some of these albums, Spencer, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts. You haven't given them a fair shot.
No, that's a fair bet. And am I going to apologize for that? No, absolutely not.
And they can act. Great TV show called Kingdom.
Yeah, more like the JB list.
Yeah, they and you know what? Respect to Joe Jonas for making a respectable appearance on the Righteous Gemstones this past season. He wasn't bad.
Kingdom is excellent. He's right about that. But what is your most controversial music opinion, Spencer?
Ooh, in Atlanta, it's that I'm not an Usher fan. So it's never, it's not a rational opinion. I'll admit that. Like, he just walked in the room and I'm like, that guy. Nah.
Wait a minute. You're a discerning critic. You're not someone who dismisses emotionally or just viscerally.
What is this but emotion? Sometimes people walk in the room and you just don't like them. You just don't like their ass. And like, Usher walked in the room and I was like, I don't like that dude.
Did you like his appearance on Dave?
No, not even. Like, no, I just, like, anytime he walks in the room, I'm like, I'm out.
Is there a Formula One driver you dismiss the way you dismiss Usher, Spencer?
Yeah, like, okay, so it's like in this club, it's like Usher, Tom Brady. Like anytime Tom Brady showed up, I've just been like, nah, not that dude. An F1 driver that I dismiss like this instantly is
Lance Stroll.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Lance a lot.
He's a good driver, but
he's a good
his
driver,
dad owns
but
the
like,
team.
yeah, you know, like a dude who you're not showing up to the same parties, even if you were all things being equal as wealthy as Lance Stroll. We're not hanging out in the same room, so that's no.
Who were you thinking of before she mentioned Lance, though? You were searching for a name.
I was, and like there are a lot of drivers who I think if we hung out, maybe we'd get along, or maybe we'd be decent to cool. I think that Fernando Alonso would sense that I wanted to like him, or I wanted him to like me, so he'd instantly hate me. So like that might be another one. Like I think Fernando Alonso's real cool, and he would never be cool with me thinking he's cool. Does that make sense?
He's cool enough to date Taylor Swift.
Do you like that segue? Just
Very
put that red
good.
meat out there for you, boys.
Well,
The hook's
what
right
what
there.
you did there, Tony, I saw the look on Tony's face. Once you said Usher and Tom Brady, Tony was like, this dude's just a hater.
You're just kind of a hater.
I mean, what? You like everything? You like everything?
I give people a chance to like it.
Do you want me to say that Tom Brady is the most successful professional quarterback of all time? I will, because he is.
Okay.
Do I like him? Do I want him on that list? No. Are these things irrational? Yes. I can hold both of them at one time in my head. That doesn't make me a hater. That makes me human.
Do you think
Amen, brother.
Do you think it's going to be awkward at Hard Rock Stadium when Joe Jonas performs, considering he also dated Taylor Swift?
Does he have a song written about him?
I mean, probably knowing Taylor.
Probably.
Right? I mean, come
I
on.
gotta ask a Swiftie about that.
Every time I see a Taylor Swift show, I just see like 70,000 people who've never done anything wrong. Never their fault.
What do
That's
you
it.
what do you regard as the most underrated entertainer in music?
Oh, so I was having a conversation with a close mutual friend of ours about this last night, and I think you can guess who it was. Phil Collins. I think Phil Collins is deeply underrated.
You know Phil Collins, Dan?
He wasn't saying that. He was saying that
Great
he was
cameo in Hook.
having a conversation with Bomani about Phil Collins
correct.
last night is what he was saying. He was not saying
An
that.
on-the-air conversation or off-the-air?
No, it sounds like it was an off-the-air conversation.
It was off the air. From time to time, we will discuss music, and I think we both agree that he is deeply underappreciated. If for nothing else, then for writing the like the ultimate banger of all Disney soundtracks, which is the Tarzan soundtrack.
You couldn't go 10 minutes throughout an entire decade on any station and not hear Phil Collins.
Why are you saying he's underrated
Yeah,
though?
I'm
I
not
think he's
following that
I think
at
he's
all.
super appreciated, is he not?
No, I don't think he's appreciated enough as a musician. I think that people assume he was just kind of this pop phenomenon that was well packaged and piped through MTV and through radio, which is true. I would grant that for anyone. But it's not like you get a lot of Phil Collins retrospectives outside of the adoption of "In the Air Tonight" as the end-all be-all of stadium entrance song.
Well, he's grumpy. Maybe he just doesn't want that attention anymore.
Well, I think he's dealing with some stuff, so light on
yeah,
him.
he's got some health issues.
Currently he is, but I'm talking about in his prime he was grumpy.
What do you mean?
Oh, deeply grumpy. I think that didn't help him either. I think
Right.
he was an irascible guy. He was too kind of a hater.
Well,
as
take
you
a
might
look
say.
at him now.
His
No,
wife.
now we know.
His wife, his
You didn't
ex-wife,
get the
also
joke.
alleged he was smelly and didn't brush his teeth and stopped showering.
He had an uncomfortable divorce, and it's been sad recently to see him performing. I don't know if he needs the money or not, but with a cane or sitting down.
Spencer,
Yeah.
what
he's a drummer.
Formula One driver would you describe as an irascible guy?
Irascible, or the original irascible guy is Kimi Räikkönen. I think Max Verstappen is pretty irascible as well. He's deep, like his whole persona is basically like founded on being unpleasant. Which to quote a minor Ted Lasso character, he's not rude. He's just Dutch.
How does put it on the poll, please, Juju at LeBatard Show? Is Verstappen rude or just Dutch? How does that go over with his fellow drivers? The fact that he's not rude, just Dutch and irascible, and also wins everything.
I think his fellow drivers know what he is. This past weekend, George Russell cut him off. to take a lead and to pass him at the start of a race. This is pretty rare this season because there's not a lot of people who've gotten ahead of Max Verstappen at any time. But I think you find this among people who are performing at the top of their professions. The little microaggressions against them become huge faults, become like felonies, right? Like, how dare you get your elbows out against me? How dare you? And that's what Max Verstappen does against everybody. So naturally, he complained about it. And that's because I think at that level, any challenge to your supremacy is, seen as, bigger than it is or more threatening. It was deeply funny as well. So I think most drivers know what he is. Most of these drivers, they get on pretty well because let's face it, there's a lot of competition and it's very intense. But at the end of the day, you're all going to the pool party with the Jonas Brothers, aren't you? You're all making a tremendous amount of money to do a very glamorous thing.
I'll see you there, bro. I have a theory about Phil Collins, and I wonder if you agree.
Sure.
In the history of music, no one had their thunder stolen more except for one person than Philip Bailey and Easy Lover.
Yeah, absolutely true.
That begs a question. You're probably wondering who in music had their thunder stolen more.
Kiki D?
No. Have you ever listened to the song The Piano Man?
By Billy Joel?
Yeah. A harmonica player won't get out of the way. It's like
That's
it's
Billy
a harmonica, but the harmonica player is like we're renaming this song Harmonica Man. Like, lay out, dude.
It's the most bizarre take in the middle of an interview.
It's not called Harmonica Man. It's called Piano Man.
He plays
Chill.
piano the entire time.
Yeah, but it's all about the harmonica in that song.
That's the intro. That's like saying Thunder Road is a harmonica song.
David's a sucker for anything, and
I'm a sucker for
Billy
you.
Joel. All things Billy Joel.
Well, where's David from? Is David from Long Island? Are you from the Long Island metropolitan area?
If New York City is the Long Island metropolitan area, then yes.
Okay, yeah. So you can't be blamed for that. You're super weak. It's like somebody from the Sun Belt having a weakness for Buffett. You'll be like, I don't like Jimmy Buffett. You'll be like, name 10 of his songs, and you'll just spit 10 out. It just happens.
Spencer, who is the driver who is the harmonica to Billy Joel's piano?
the guy who just sails in whether he's supposed to or not. This season, that's been Fernando Alonso, who's just managed to steal the spotlight at times, not only by being competitive, but by taking podiums from a team, Aston Martin, that sort of came out of nowhere. They improved a little bit last year, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. So
Shout out to Mike Crack.
And
Yeah,
by
shout
dating
out
Taylor
to
Swift. Why
Mike
we got to keep
Crack.
mentioning that, don't we? Isn't that part of his thing this year? He's finishing in the podiums, he's competing in every race, and he's dating Taylor Swift.
The Taylor Swift thing's only like a week old, though.
Yeah.
It's been very helpful as they enter Miami.
Can I tell everybody the reason why you should admire this particular version of Fernando Alonso? It's this, that last season he switched teams without telling the team he was leaving, and then went on a yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean, and the team attempted to contact him and made it clear through public channels that they would like to discuss this with Fernando Alonso. And his response was, I'm on a boat.
It's a great response. DNF is the name of the podcast he does with Jessica. Enjoy your 48 hours in Miami, Spencer. Always good seeing you. Always good talking to you, sir.
Likewise. Thanks, y'all.
Let's have some cake by the ocean.
Formula Juan is going to be back in Miami partying
No.
all weekend while poor Jessica is in Baltimore at a wedding against your will, right? Against your will.
It's a track friend.
Very happy for the bride and groom.
You guys may remember from a few months back in January, I believe, where Fabrizio Romano, the most reputable soccer insider there is, a guy that basically created a lane and owned it, reported that Messi had agreed verbally to an extension with PSG and that it was essentially 90% done. And then several months went by of me telling you that wasn't the case. There was no agreement in place, and that report was inaccurate. Several months have gone by, and now we're starting to see the public pivot of PSG start working its machine. And today, Fabrizio, just a couple hours ago, reported Lionel Messi, with zero capitulation, by the way, Lionel Messi will not be brought back by PSG.
Oh, it's more than that, though. It's he's been suspended. He's unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia with his family for weeks that mean missing training. Ronaldo has really really done damage to his reputation, the punctuation on his career for his relationship with the Saudis, and just in general, the Piers Morgan interview. But Messi has so much power at the top of that sport right now as a champion and filling the last place in his trophy case that needed filling. He's got all the leverage, and you've been telling us for a while that the Saudis' offer is going to be enormous and is a standing offer, but you don't believe there's any chance that he ends up there.
A couple of weeks ago when I checked in with sources, they didn't feel like he'd be going to Saudi Arabia. If it were about money, that would be the place to go. They offered him twice as much as what Ronaldo was offered. Inter Miami, very much alive in this. What's happened recently is Barcelona, who like to draw out these potential transfers in large part because they have to find levers to pull because they don't have any money and they are not in compliance with financial fair play. So they work in very shady ways to try and get signings registered, which will be a huge issue and a huge hurdle for them to clear with Lionel Messi. Right now, Inter Miami are only worried about Barcelona. It's because Xavi is a manager over there. Busquets, Messi's best friend, plays over there presently. He is also out of contract. Right now, there was a report yesterday that he is more or less made up his mind and that Barcelona expects him to resign.
What is that?
Right. I think you should pay attention to what some of these things are actually saying. It's very clear that Fabrizio, for as good as he is on all the other beats, and I know he's plugged in with Barcelona and he's certainly plugged in with PSG because that's who was feeding him all the information on the Messi front because he was wrong. And PSG thought he was coming back until he wasn't. And now you see, we're going to suspend him and they'll take a very harsh public stance. I would probably guess that maybe Messi has played his final game for PSG. He'll come back when they have 3 games left and then he'll just get booed? He's already been kind of booed already by that fan base. On his way out, that's not a good situation for him. Right now, Inter Miami thinks that Barcelona is the biggest competition, but if you see the odds from some sports books out there, they have Inter Miami at plus 1,000. And I am here to tell you, Inter Miami's still in regular communication with Messi's camp and still as hopeful as they were several weeks ago, even months ago, when communication began. There's been nothing to dissuade them from this. The only thing is, if they had their way, Messi would have signed by now, and they are in this holding pattern as Barcelona tries to figure out ways to register Lionel Messi.
I continue to tell the audience that David Sampson tackles a lot of stuff on Nothing Personal that I don't hear anybody else in mainstream media tackling. On today's Nothing Personal, you must be fascinated by everything happening around the world's biggest athlete. It's not LeBron, no matter what it is that America's myopia is. This is the world's most famous, most powerful athlete at the height of his powers, even though he shouldn't be in his prime anymore, with a massive amount of leverage and the kind of suitors you always want when you have that kind of power.
Well, it's a dream. There wasn't this type of leverage 10 years ago, right? There wasn't a thought that you'd go to Saudi Arabia. And then Forbes comes out with its list of top-paid athletes, and Ronaldo's on top of it. And you can say that it's not about the money for Messi. The only reason Messi went to Saudi Arabia was for money. He was hired as an ambassador. So he already is working with them. So he's already crossed that dirty bridge. So I don't find it a huge leap anymore that he would go play for Saudi Arabia.
Mike's reporting on this, talking to people, has pushed that aside largely.
And that was coming in directly from people in his camp. However, they've played this quite well to the point that no one really knows what they're going to do. And I would also offer this up. Whatever the feeling is a couple of weeks ago when I last checked in with sources, $500 million annually is a lot to say no to.
Did you have Ronaldo going? Did your
Ronaldo? I did some reporting on Ronaldo and how close he actually came to going to MLS. And what went wrong with Sporting Kansas City was actually the seeds of the dissolution of his relationship with his agent, a relationship that was very tight. In fact, I believe Ronaldo, as a wedding gift, once bought his agent an island. And they broke up kind of over what happened with Sporting Kansas City. Ronaldo ends up going to Saudi Arabia.
Was he not also dating his agent's daughter?
There was that going on too. I don't think that was still the case. I know he's in a long-term relationship now with a partner.
Is that a good gift to get an island for your girlfriend? How do you get there?
Well, he gave it to his agent. It's a private island. But Ronaldo is now making loads of money, but he's also tarnished his legacy with his departure from Manchester United, and his legacy was also tarnished by Messi's play, coincidentally. I would say when push comes to shove, $500 million is a lot to say no to annually. But right now, if you look at handicappers, it goes Barcelona, the favorite, Barcelona, who is never in compliance of financial fair play and have loads of trouble signing anyone. They have no money. It's going to be weird to see them try to find ways, but I would never count them out because they are the shadiest damn club on the planet. And Saudi Arabia is second. And a distant third right now is Inter Miami at plus 1,000. I would say that that's pretty good value on this because they're still in communication. And Lionel Messi is incentivized to go this year. One thing that Inter Miami has probably changed the messaging on when I check in and do some reporting is a few months ago it was like, well, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. This is only available right now. And that's not necessarily the case anymore. This deal is available to him next year. However, it wouldn't be the smart financial play because it's worth a lot more now. Because, David, as you know, when shovels go into that ground, the value on the franchise will go up, and he wouldn't be a part of the ownership group that gets to see that huge rise in value. He'd be coming in on the back end.
But he can lock in the valuation now.
Not if he's not under contract with them.
You can ever heard of a side deal? I mean, there are different ways.
Talk about a side deal. Let's go back to the private island for a second. So you get the private island,
We
right?
skipped past that so
We did
quickly.
very
Samson
quickly.
saying
I wouldn't
that
want one.
You wouldn't want
No,
one?
hold on, Billy, hold on.
Major infrastructure issues.
No, that's not true, though. If he's got the money to buy a private island, he can put some stuff on there. The important part is how do you get there, right? The private island's got to come with a boat and a captain.
Or an
preferably.
airstrip and a private plane.
What are you going to put there? Who's going to work there, Tony? How
Well,
are they going to get there?
Hold on a second. Bullock Island. Reggie Bullock is doing that. He bought an island off of the coast of like Belize or something, and
Reggie
he's creating his
Bullock?
own island.
What
yes.
happened to Akon City?
Ooh, I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know
Reggie
if there was
Bullock-
something dangerous around that.
Reggie Bullock has earned enough in his career to own an island.
There's some
called
islands you can
Bullock
get
Island.
on Airbnb for 10 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah, but do they have plumbing?
but he
No, they
bought
have
it.
no infrastructure. You can't get there.
That's exactly right. There used to be a show on like Travel Channel or one of those. It was like Island Hunters or something like that. And it was like
I
you'd
love
buy
that show.
islands and it's like, oh my God, look at this nice house on an island. It's so affordable. It's like, yeah, but how the hell are you going to get groceries? Also, there's no power. There's no AC. Like this
he's
is
building
so
one.
Who do you
impractical.
call if your toilet gets clogged or something?
Zagak.
Or your sink?
You don't
people
have
that
a
work
toilet.
there.
You don't have a toilet? Then I definitely don't want to be there. What are you, pooping in a hole?
You've
Co-sign that.
got to build infrastructure so that you have a sewage system.
You know who had his own island? Gilligan. And that was a disaster.
Well, they got stranded
True.
on that island, though. That's a
Also, the
different story.
Pogues and Outer Banks.
I don't think they wanted to get off, if I'm going to be honest
Poke
with
for
you.
life?
If
They
you
didn't
can
wanna get
buy
off
an
Gilligan's
island for
Island.
$25K, I think it's safe to say that you ought not buy it.
Can we look up some of the details on Reggie Bullock Island?
There's a
please?
huge sign that says Bullock Island on it. It's a 5-acre private island.
He only spent $2 million on it.
Give me some more information.
There's a reason he only spent $2 million on it.
Okay, but $2 million is it's a substantial amount of money.
Not
Maybe
that
not
much,
for an
though.
It's a
island.
4-3 now, Dan.
It's Schitt's Creek.
His career earnings, according to Taylor, were 38 mil.
That's gross, though. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much.
Yes,
money-
it is
It
gross.
gross. It's disgusting. I can't believe that that Mike actually said the phrase, the shadiest damn club on the planet is the favorite, and then came in with Saudi Arabia. Like, do you know how shady you have to be shadier than Saudi Arabia?
It
Made
should
me
also
feel
be
so
noted
good, though. I thought I was number one.
their
Now I'm
club
not.
president may also be using this public leverage because the prospect of Messi returning to Barcelona is hugely excited that base. Could also be using it for a re-election bid. And Messi has played ball with this concept and heard them out, even though Messi's own brother has been quoted in the past saying there's no way he goes back there.
Reggie Bullock intends to construct an 8-villa rental property in addition to a 4,000 square foot residence for himself, a restaurant, a spa, and other facilities are also on the construction agenda.
I don't know. I feel like he overpaid for this island. I just found an island for sale for $32,000
Where, though?
off the coast of Belize. There's another one
5
in
acres?
Nova Scotia, Big Tancook Island for
That's
$68,000.
too cold. Way too cold.
Or another Belize one, $83,000, 60 acres.
Ooh, can we get an island?
For the next boss?
Not and lunch.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of all food. We can move it.
You know what?
Let me ask the group.
I might be willing to make that
Why
deal.
is this an either or?
I saw
David?
Waiters
That's
Island
life.
was for sale.
That's
No, it's
life.
not.
You can't have it all.
This is always what people argue when it comes to contract negotiations. Like, oh, if you want something, it has to come out of someone else's pocket. Guess what? Maybe it's coming out of yours, David. Leave our eggs alone. And that goes for the government, too.
Foreign
Yeah.
concepts ever. When someone gets something, it comes out of someone else's pocket. It's the epiphany of a lifetime.
Reggie says there's also a really good grouper. So there's that.
I love grouper.
How do you cook it?
You got a chef. He said he's building a restaurant and a spa and other facilities. So who knows?
Let's find Reggie Bullock and interview him about his island, please.
He's
We
on the
have to go to his
elbow,
island.
going 1 for 8.
Making $38 million.
Gross.
It is. It's totally disgusting. I agree with you. Juju, put it on the poll. Do you think in every instance getting a private island is a good gift? I have thought of something similar. We make fun to this day of a college friend of mine because as a gift, in the very early parts of the dating process, he gave someone as a gift a bird, a responsibility. It's a terrible gift. We still make fun of him to this day, and I believe that David is right. I have thought of a private island as always being good, right up until you don't have a sewage system in place in your private island. Then you've got a lot of work to do.
It's so perfect with how you operate because for you, you're not thinking of anything. Oh, it's a private island. No one's going to bother me. And I'm thinking about the first time I have to take a crap. That's the immediate first thing that gets into my head.
Dave, but you're going to be able to build a house that you want to.
No,
your
you
specs.
won't.
No, you don't have the materials.
Exactly right.
What
You
are
have to
you
figure out
talking
how do
about?
you get the materials there. You're going to have to rent all kinds of boats and all of this stuff. And as a gift, it's even worse because God knows what type of implications come along with that with taxes and all that stuff. Like, do you guys know that like a high percentage of Price is Right winners just have to sign away their winnings because of the tax implications at the end. So they don't even win the stuff on the show because they're like, this is going to cost me how much to walk away with this car I just won today? Like, no, thank you. I don't want it.
That was Oprah's car giveaway. I don't know if people remember. I don't know when that was. It feels like it was 20 years ago. It may have been 1 year ago. Oprah bought a car for everyone in her audience. And they didn't know. They were the big applause. Oh, my God, I have a car. And then they came in with the tax bill. And the tax bill's thousands of dollars. They said, wait a minute.
I mean, but we can spoil everything if we want to. I believe in spirit, the giving of a private island, if as a gift, is probably something that most people would want.
No.
You give it to your enemy.
Yes, I like that.
What? You guys are crazy. You take care of the taxes. You flip the bill for everything. You set everything up. You got a house. You got plumbing. You've got everything.
What
You
about
set
ongoing
everything
expenses?
up.
What are you talking about? That's like a gift 10
You just
times
yada
as
yada
big as
yada
what-
millions of dollars.
Hold on. How much is Messi worth?
Who's that?
Are you kidding me, Amin? Are you kidding me? This is when you get here
What is he
after
eating?
oversleeping.
Isn't the show over?
You come in. Yes, it's almost over. You're coming now eating. What is that? Is
Free
that,
cantaloupe? Honeydew?
My favorite kind.
Put it on the poll, please. What do you like better, cantaloupe or honeydew? Because I believe honeydew is the stepbrother of cantaloupe. I believe honeydew stinks compared to cantaloupe. But why are you getting here 10 minutes before we finish up hour 2 of the show? How is this possible?
Dan, don't burn the lead here. I understand this man wants to get rid of the free honeydew.
I understand that I want to leave, period, right now.
No.
You were supposed to be here this morning.
I was, yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
excellent work by you.
In his defense, he's here.
Admirable.
What a
Hey,
company
man.
we have.
It's about the effort, right? It's A for effort. Hey, if I wasn't available, if I was Jimmy Butler and I checked in the fourth quarter last night, don't you think everyone would have been excited?
We would have applauded.
Would have saved the game.
Probably won.
Probably would have won. Guess
You're
what?
no Jimmy Butler.
Today we're winning. You're welcome. I did it for you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Amin.
Thank you, Amin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amin.
I'll thank you
Wow.
to save the honeydew.
Amin.
We have a lot of work to do is all I can say.
David
what's up?
Sampson, you were not here for all of this. David Sampson thinks we have a lot of structural problems as a company that
No, it's fine.
allow without consequences for you to arrive this kind of late in the middle of the playoffs as our NBA expert because you overslept on a flight.
Well, what happened was there was a window of time I needed to be out of my hotel room and at the airport, and I missed that window of time. So
Yeah.
technically, the flight hadn't left yet, but there was no hope of me getting there in time.
Yeah.
You overslept.
And,
Well,
and
I
you
mean-
weren't here when you were supposed to be.
No,
here.
there's a window.
There's a window.
And the
I
window
was-
closed.
I wasn't here when I was supposed to be, but I'm here now, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Let's make the most
It's
of the
not-
time we
but
have,
it's not-
guys.
It's not what matters.
Well, he technically made it into the window of the show.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's 7 minutes left.
Well, I mean, look, we could either spend these 7 minutes talking about did he oversleep, was a window shut, whatever, or we could have a productive conversation. I understand we're talking about islands, private islands.
Reggie Bullock's private island, in fact.
Reggie Bullock has a private island. How about that? That's an interesting topic. A lot more interesting than my travel plans.
But why did you oversleep? What happened? Did your alarm not go off? Did you not have the
He
technology?
missed the window. We don't need to get bogged down on sleeping, oversleeping, what caused it.
Yeah.
There's a window of time, Dan, and then
Yeah.
at certain
Very
point,
finite
the
window.
window closes. The window closed on me.
But what happened?
What happened was the window was open and then it ceased to be
Yeah.
It's
open.
Yeah,
incredible.
it ceased to
So
be open,
here's what
yeah.
happened. Either he forgot, just flat out forgot that he had a
Well,
responsibility.
he's here. So.
Or he was
Yeah, he's here.
distracted by something that caused him to lose track of time.
Right.
Because if you had overslept, why wouldn't you have just said, I overslept, I didn't hear my alarm?
Well, I mean, because
What?
there's a window of time,
Right.
David. I don't think you're understanding.
6 minutes left.
Plain of glass.
So an island.
What happened
I'd like an
before
island.
the window? Before the window closed? Before it was opened? What happened to you? Why were you not here today?
Before the window opened, the window wasn't open, and I am here today, by the way.
You were at game 2.
Oh, I did go to game 2. That's true.
Yeah.
I went to game 2
Boots
at
on the ground.
the world's most famous arena. I looked for Stugotz. I did not find him.
The Mecca.
You weren't flying in from the West Coast?
No, I flew in from New York.
You were this delayed and you were only coming from New York?
Well, I mean,
There's flights every half hour. I thought you missed
are
the
there?
window like for a red eye.
I am here though.
Wait, there's literally flights every half hour from one of the 3 New York airports, LaGuardia, Kennedy, or Newark, into either Miami or Fort Lauderdale for you to have been here on time.
Well, I mean, I got
What?
I got on the plane that afforded me a window that was open. If I could have picked a flight that had a
I
closed
shouldn't have
window,
had to work for him. You made it sound like I misunderstood this whole thing. You made it sound like that he missed his plane and that he had hours and hours to travel and couldn't make it here.
No, that's not what happened. He overslept and then he realized, well,
No, the
I'm
window.
not
Yeah.
within this window to make this earlier flight, so I'm just going to continue sleeping.
Another window.
But there's the
until a second window
the
opened.
same
Exactly.
window has multiple flights. It's not you're not coming from
Well,
Antarctica.
David, I'm not the only person flying from New York. There's other people. Those flights have availabilities or don't have availabilities. Now, I could have taken the first class seat. They wanted to charge me a lot of money, and I thought that's irresponsible.
Admirable.
It's irresponsible to the structure of this company. You know why? Because that money could be better used getting us free honeydew and bagels in the morning.
Yeah.
And do we have lunch today, by the way?
No lunch.
No,
today.
no
lunch.
lunch. Yeah.
There's no lunch today.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Look at this.
Stu
What's
definitely
in-
flew first class.
Bringing it back.
What they're
Stugotz
thinking,
is
though,
having lunch right
here's the
now
thing.
on the company dime in New York.
I mean, they're thinking of it as you're the only one with a window, and not a building such as this one, this lovely building that we just moved into with many windows.
Lots
A lot of
windows.
windows.
You
They're
have
beautiful
your
windows.
own window, but everyone else has their window, and all the windows need to fit together.
That's called teamwork,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm here.
3.5 hours late.
I mean,
Was that a
window,
good? Was
I
that a
mean,
good
you know.
shot from Jordan Poole?
what's that?
Was that a good shot from Jordan Poole?
It was a terrible shot, but more importantly,
Wait, did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I watched the game.
You did?
Yeah,
That's why he
For
overslept.
certain
It was his
reasons.
window.
That's
Exactly,
highlight
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
My
Did
window.
you see the highlights of the game?
I saw the game. I watched the entire game.
And
I
you
got-
couldn't wake up to fly here.
Well, no,
Because he watched the entire game.
We're getting
Yeah,
bogged
the
down.
window.
so I
You know,
know,
the
is it-
window.
Again, he's
The
Did Jordan
window
Poole
closed.
shoot the shot, yes or no?
Did he shoot the shot?
Can he shoot the shot?
Is he physically capable?
Is it a good shot for him to shoot?
I don't think in that moment that was the shot that he should have shot
Because of 9 seconds left on the clock or because he's Jordan Poole?
because he's Jordan Poole.
It would have been great if you were here in the beginning of the show. You would have added value. Now, with this amount of time
Well,
left, there's no value.
no,
added
there is
to
a
your
lot of
presence.
value.
You
We
should
still
be in
have
the penalty box.
three plus. No,
I go
don't
for
do
nothing.
that.
There's a window
I
of
go
time
for
open right now.
nothing.
What was the failing? Him being
We're
Jordan
wasting
Poole or
time.
him being Jordan Poole not realizing that there was still plenty of time on the clock to actually make something happen where a situation would present itself where Jordan Poole doesn't have to
Part
take
That's
that
a
shot.
leading question.
Part B is tied into Part A because he's Jordan Poole. If he weren't Jordan Poole, he wouldn't be making that mistake.
Right. You're so
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah, I
Try
see
to-
that.
Thanks for coming, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I like. Thank you for having me. Guys.
I've got another
welcome.
question. Is boxing out passe?
Oh, I heard you talk about this, Mike. It's not. Kevon Looney is living testimony to boxing out. Still cool, kids.
Is it cool? Because I saw Sabonis boxing out and not going for boards, and it killed him. And there's this subsect in the analytics community that says boxing out is actually a dumb play.
No.
That you should just go up for a rebound.
No.
You're actually helping the other player.
Boxing out, wow, I don't like this guy around here. Amin missed his flight and is only now showing up. What guy? What are the guys in the truck doing?
Some people are saying you're 3.5 hours late. I'd argue you're a day and a half early for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what that's called?
You're right.
Bottle half full. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, even though that's a
Half
quarter full.
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't show the cameras because they're not paying us, right? This water company, whatever it's called.
2 minutes.
But to answer the question, right? Boxing out technically isn't for you to grab the rebound. It's for your teammates to grab the rebound. Someone did the analytics people actually did a Second Spectrum did this study years ago, and they found the best rebounding teams were not teams that had dominant big rebounders. Like at the time Kevin Love was on Minnesota, you would think, oh, he's one of the best rebounders in the league. They must be one of the best rebounding teams. Quite the opposite. They weren't that good. The best rebounding teams got rebounding from other positions, from their wings and from their guards. And that comes as a result of big men who do box out and box out the other would-be rebounders.
So you were at game 2. It's why you overslept and missed your window.
Well, I didn't oversleep. I
Bam
missed one.
Adebayo has been boxing out,
Yeah.
and they don't really have great rebounders on the team outside of Kevin Love. And you would think Bam Adebayo would be one of the stronger rebounders, but he's taking himself out of the play to box out Mitchell Robinson in hopes that Caleb Martin would grab a board.
Well, there you go. You said the operative part, which is Mitchell Robinson is one of the best, if not the best, offensive rebounder in the game. So it's more important for Bam to stop him from getting that rebound than it is for him to get the rebound, because the reality is he's going to be more unsuccessful if he lets Mitchell Robinson just go
I'm
and
so
take.
happy you're here. You're so wise.
I try, man. I try.
Before you got here, we were talking about, in my entire life before the last 5 years, that shot from Jordan Poole is a truly terrible shot for anybody to be taking. Now, how many guys in the league are you good with taking that shot at the end of a game? Give me a number and give me the names of the number of people who aren't named Jordan Poole that Amin would be like, I'm fine with that shot to end that game.
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, there's 2 on his own team right there. Damian Lillard, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland.
Trae Young?
Darius Garland?
I would trust Darius Garland with that shot.
Trae Young?
Trae Young, I think I would put him
Harden.
on there.
More than 10 guys?
Poole makes that shot
Yeah,
at about a
there's-
30% clip.
There's Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. You know,
But to your point, 2 guys on his own team that he had
Jimmy-
time to find.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Come on, man. They got the split, Dan.
No.
That's all they wanted.
No.